Hello, welcome to Potpourri. I'm Shatondra Caldwell, and today in the studio I have Miss Roz Tandy, one of the 12 founding members of Swing Fi Swing. How are you today?
Doing great, absolutely great.
Great. So let's talk about Swing Fi Swing. What exactly is that?
Well, Swing Fi Swing, Social Fellowship Incorporated, was founded in 1969 at Winston-Salem State University. 12 of us, young, energetic, wanting to be a little different than the Divine Nine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they are our sisters, love them dearly, but we just wanted to do something different. We were right in the midst of the civil rights, the heat of the civil rights struggle, in fact, in 1969. And we just felt that we needed to be a part of something that addressed more of our issues and more of us. Even though we embrace people globally, you know, but we still felt it was very, very important that we as an organization address more of our issues, you know, as a people, as a culture. So we did. It was 12 of us. You know, I think I was 18 at the time.
Wow.
In fact, you know, I just marvel, you know, that I had that kind of energy and drive. But we did. We started, and we are sisters to Groove by Groove. And one of the reasons we started, too, was because they didn't have sisters.
Right.
You know, and some of the Divine Nine, of course, did have sister organizations. So that was another reason. You know, they really helped us and drove us and worked with us to make sure that we got established.
Now, is there a Swing Fi Swing here in Atlanta or Clark, Atlanta?
You know, there is not currently an undergrad chapter here at Clark Atlanta University, but there used to be one, in fact, here. There was one, of course, at Spelman. In fact, Atlanta University, the complex, you know, was pretty much, had quite a few chapters at one time. And Swing did take a slight hiatus, you know, but we came right back, and, you know, we are still very much alive and very much active, you know, in the community, because that's a huge part of what we are. But we do have many graduate chapters, and we have a graduate chapter here in Atlanta, of which I am the president, you know, currently. And we are extremely active and are, you know, looking to expand. You know, we're not trying to get numbers. That's really important, you know, because my thing is this. I would rather have a small, very effective group, you know, versus just having a lot of names on a list, you know, of people who just say, I'm a swing, wear the paraphernalia, but they're not really as active as we'd like them to be, you know. So, of course, we're interested in getting sisters involved. And let me tell you, too, SWING is an acronym that stands for Sisters with Interests Never Gone, Promoting Higher Intelligence, and supporting women in need of growth. And that doesn't mean just externally. That also means the sisters who are within our organization, because you always need to start at home first. So that's real important to make sure I mention.
Right, because when I was thinking Swing Fi Swing, I was thinking, you know, swing, you know, the swing dance type thing. You know, so you broke it down for me, but that's great. So what other HBCUs besides Winston-Salem State is Swing Fi Swing at?
Oh man, quite a lot. There's Hampton, there is A&T, North Carolina Central, quite a few in North Carolina. Now we have, like I said, the graduate chapters, you know, flourish a lot more than the undergraduate chapters, because our sisters graduate, you know, and then they don't get an opportunity to really flourish on the campus. And I'll be very honest, too, we have had some difficulties establishing ourselves with some of the administration, you know, at some of the HBCUs. So that has been an issue in terms of getting our undergraduate sector, you know, really active and ongoing, because that's important, you know. In my other life, you know, I'm a consultant. I work with churches a lot, and I'm always telling them, if you walk in and you see nothing but older people and no young people, you know that organization is not going to last, it's not going to flourish. The same thing with our organization. You know, we want to make sure that it continues, that the legacy continues, you know, so we do want to get more younger sisters involved and on campuses. But we have sisters in Tuskegee, there's some in Texas, they're pretty much everywhere, Las Vegas to New Jersey,
Wow.
New York, you know, they're pretty much everywhere. They really are, you know.
So you say you guys are heavily involved in the community.
Absolutely.
What community events do you guys do to help out the community?
We have had quite a few. Well, just to give you an idea, Weaver Garden, you know, which is under the umbrella of, I think, Families First. We, in fact, I'm a trainer You know, so I did some life skill trainings and some employment readiness trainings for the mothers. Weaver Garden is a place that houses young women with children, and some of these women are teens, or young ladies, I should say, are teens, you know, but they have children that are usually 3 years old and under. So we have gone there and done several things. We did a container garden. You know, one of our sisters was, you know, really into gardening, so she showed them how easy it was to grow things. She grew carrots. I think they grew spinach or something else, but just to show them, you know, even on a really small budget, you can still eat healthy. And one of the other things we did was to have an apartment makeover, because one of those same young ladies was able to move out and get her very first apartment, but she didn't have anything. So we got together and did an apartment makeover for her and got beautiful furniture, plants, you know, and bedroom furniture, things for her little boy, including food. We stocked her refrigerator as well, you know. So that's just one of the things. The English Avenue project, I think Abel Mabel was a big part of that, you know, trying to clean up that area in that community. We were heavily involved in making sure that was clean, you know. Books for Africa, that's another one that we're involved in. You know, we volunteer there as well as Jose Feed the Hungry. We're partnered with them. Every meeting we are to bring book supplies, you know, school supplies rather, you know, which can just include just all kinds of things, because my take is this, you know, so many people are giving books, school supplies for kids in July and August, but now my grandson is totally out of that stuff by the time November rolls around. So we have a perpetual school supply, you know, and we give to them, you know, as well as giving gifts and other things to, I think it's Sadie Mae's is what we worked with them this past Christmas, you know, where we gave a lot of things, robes, slippers, everything that elderly people would just like to have. And not just those little dust catchers, but things that are usable. You know, I'm always telling people it's so important that when you're giving elderly people something, give them something they can use, you know, not just something that collects dust. So that's just a few of the things, you know, that we're involved in.
So what is the legacy that Swing Fi Swing wants to hold in the future?
One of the most important things for us is that community service, helping out, reaching, encouraging, doing what is needed when you see there is a need, and not waiting for a committee to be formed, you know, but we want sisters to take the initiative, you know, to do what needs to be done, because everybody can do something, you know, no matter how little. A smile, you know, that in and of itself can do a whole lot for people, but that is one of the most important things, you know. People need to know, you know, if they have met a swing, that they have been positively impacted by that sister, you know, and that's one of the things that I absolutely, especially as a founder, you know, because I always tell people, listen, if swing goes today or lives 10 million years, my name is on there. So I want absolutely this to go down, you know, with the awesome positive legacy. That's very important.
Wow, that's big, definitely big. So you guys say you help young girls in schools and in the community. What is one of the biggest lessons you've taught a girl in your community service help?
Oh, one of them is that there's always so much greatness that she doesn't know. And I know how that looks because that was me, you know. So when it was you, if your self-esteem was very low, you can smell it. You can see it a mile off, you know. And that's a good thing, you know, because when I do, I address it, you know. I make sure I encourage that little sister, you know, and the older sisters as well, you know, because some people just never had anyone to just really talk to them, to encourage them and tell them, you can do it, you can. What is it that you want to do, you know. I also teach an entrepreneurial class, you know, and for young women, and that's one. It's called Discovering My Greatness, you know, because, you know, it took me a minute to discover mine, you know, and I'm still discovering it, you know, and I'm in my 60s, so I'm still discovering, which is a great thing, because as long as we're growing, you know, as long as we are still learning, you know, and growing, there's still a lot of hope, you know, but to make sure that these young sisters know that they have within them so much to impact so many others, their family, you know, so many others, you know. So I think that is such a huge piece for people to understand that they have so much within them that just hadn't even been tapped yet.
That's great. So even throughout Clark Atlanta University, if you could give a college student one thing to remember, what would that be? Because I'm a young college student, and I need someone to impact my life and, you know, be that mentor for me. So what advice would you give a college student now?
One of the things I would absolutely say, find out what your passion really is. Because a lot of times we come to college and we major in things that our moms told us, you're really good at that, you need to do that. And that may be true, you know, but sometimes it's not. You know, I come from a family of educators, you know, of teachers, and I went to school saying, well, that's what I'm going to major in early child education, you know, only after my initial practice teaching, I'm like, I don't want to do this. You know, I love teaching, absolutely love teaching, and I'm still teaching, you know, but I did not like that particular setting, you know. So one of the things I absolutely would share is to know your passion. You make sure that you know what you really want to do. You know, try different things to make sure, but try it long enough to make sure. You know, it's going to be hard. Doesn't matter if you do like it. You're going to still run into some roadblocks, into some things that you don't like, you know, but you got to take the bitter with the sweet. You know, as my pastor said, in fact, you know, if you bake a cake, if you try to eat the raw eggs or drink that vanilla, that is nasty. But when you put it all together, you know, it does make a wonderful cake, you know. So same thing in life, you know. That's a life lesson. You got to take that bitter with the sweet.
And when we return, we'll have more with Miss Tandy next right after this break. Stay tuned.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Have you or your family thought about starting an evacuation plan? Would you rather be prepared than to not be prepared at all? By joining FEMA's National Preparedness Month, you'll learn the simple steps to prepare for emergencies. From storing your most valuable supplies in waterproof containers to having an alternative getaway route.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
And welcome back to Potpourri. We're still here with Miss Tandy. So let's talk about the Carol Mitchell-Leon Scholarship Fundraiser. I know recently you guys had her annual fundraiser. Can you talk a little bit about that?
We did. It was a game night. It's called a game night. And let me just give you a little history of that game night. You know, Carol Mitchell-Leon was an actress, and she starred in a couple of Tyler Perry's movies, and one of them, I think it was Diary of
Mad Black
Woman. But if you remember, she was a character who was on the front line playing cards. I think they were playing bid whist, and she was smoking something she had no business smoking, and was seeing animals and all. But in any event, because that was one of the last things she did, and she was playing cards, you know, we thought, you know, let's do a game night. You know, of course, Carol was a swing by swing. She was one of our sisters, and a couple of our sisters were very close to her, you know, so they did want to do something in honor of her. So we came up last year with the idea of game night. And it was absolutely a huge success, where we played bid with spades, every kind of game you can think of. You know, I think they even had bingo, Scrabble, all kinds of things. And it was very, very well attended. But the whole point of having the game night, it is a book scholarship fundraiser. And we want to afford at least 2 students at Clark Atlanta University, $500 book scholarships. Because I know when I was in college, books were so cheap. You get a book for $7, you know, but now my understanding is books are hundreds of dollars, you know. So, you know, $500 may not be a lot, but, you know, it can help some, you know. So get a book or 2 possibly, you know, but we did decide to do that. And hopefully, you know, we can increase that. But we wanted, because Carol was also one of the instructors in your drama and theater department, you know, those students are coming from that same department because that was her department.
So do you know who won the book fundraiser, the Clark Atlanta University students? I think it was Victory Williams.
Victory Williams, and the other young lady's name escapes me. I'm so sorry to say.
But they're here at Clark Atlanta University.
They are here at Clark, absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, we will be meeting with them and some of the administrators of Clark to give them check on Friday. We'll be meeting there for lunch, in fact, at Pascal's.
Okay. So Carol Mitchell-Leon, she was an instructor here. Can you give us just a little bit of background about her and her legacy here at Clark Atlanta University?
Well, unfortunately, she was not a personal friend of mine, you know, but from what I've heard of Carol, of course, I saw her work. I saw her many times at the Alliance Theater. You know, Carol was a very loving and giving person, you know, from everything I've ever heard about her. She made sure that what she did was done with the spirit of excellence. And of course, we can attest to that just by her movies. You know, she was always so very good. Carol also was one of the advisors here on campus, you know, for the undergrads who were swing by swings. You know, she was the advisor, in fact, so faculty advisor for them. I don't know what year that was, but I do know she did serve in that role.
And did she play a huge part in Swing by Swing?
She did, I'm sure. She absolutely did. As I said, I did not really know Carol. And during that time, I was a bit inactive and did not really get an opportunity to interact with her while she was active in Swing by Swing. You know, but of course, some of the sisters who've been there for some time, you know, did, and they've just spoken nothing but really just glowing reviews and reports about how wonderful of a person she was. A good sister.
So with the fundraiser scholarship annual, there will be another one?
Absolutely. This was our second one, and we are looking to have it again next year and years after that. And of course, you know, with anything, like the sisters always say, you always got to make it better and better, you know. So we'll be incorporating more things. In fact, we are looking to have a black tie affair probably in another couple of years, you know, because it does take a while to put on something, you know, of that magnitude, you know, because this too will be a scholarship fundraiser, you know, and hopefully we can do more than just a book scholarship, you know, and really be able to help someone with their tuition as well. So that's what we're looking to do. And
you said with a scholarship, it's $500.
The book scholarship is two $500 scholarships are given out this year.
Wow, that really helps the students, especially throughout Clark Atlanta in the theater department, with, you know, money low and different things like that.
Absolutely.
So, and I really believe that Carol Mitchell-Leon would definitely appreciate that.
Oh, yeah,
so.
Absolutely. My understanding is she was a very generous person, so of course we had to do something, you know, in her honor, giving back.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, could you say, you know, I'm sure, have you watched a couple of the movies or shows that she was in?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw her in person several times at the Alliance Theater. She did, what was it, Miss Evers' Boys, you know, which was absolutely awesome. She was awesome in everything she did. You know, she was in The Heat of the Night several times. just a lot of things. She was
Right.
involved in so many. And, you know, I really encourage people, you know, if they want to know more, to just Google her name, you know,
Right.
because you will come up with all kinds of things that she was involved in, all kinds
Right.
of plays, you know, all movies, a lot of it. Because I did, and I was like, man, I saw that. I don't remember
Right.
her, you know,
Right.
but go back and you remember, because she was a woman of many faces. You know, because she could look like a little old person,
Right.
and with the voice and everything, you know, to this diva, you know. So she was just wonderful. And I didn't know she was a swing.
Right.
You know, at the time I really didn't, you know, but I just always have admired her work.
Right. And you say you've seen many of her plays. Do you know what was your favorite play that she was in?
I think Miss Evers' Boys was
Miss
one of my
Evers' Boys.
favorites, and she was in, I think, some of August Wilson's plays as well. I cannot recall some of the names,
Right.
but yeah, I used to go to the Alliance Theater quite a lot, you know, and see quite a lot of the plays there, and she was in quite a few of them.
Okay, great. I know that would have been great to see, especially with her dramatics and theater background. Like, I'm sure she was amazing.
Absolutely.
Especially teaching here at Clark and teaching students to be, you know, great like she was.
Absolutely. Clark really had a gift, and I'm
Right.
sure they did recognize that and appreciate
Yeah.
the gift they had in Carol, you know, just as a person just watching, just a patron
Right.
of the
Right.
arts, you know, I really appreciated her. But to have someone on staff, you know, who didn't just read about it, you know, but
Right.
actually lived it, breathed it, and
Right.
was very good at it, you know, is just such a blessing for Clark to have had that.
Now, could you give any advice to the students now in the theater department on behalf of Miss Carol?
Oh, now I have been
See
known
what
as
you
a
say?
drama queen,
Right.
but, you know, but of course, you know, just know her legacy, and
Right.
you know, I don't know. Well, everybody, let me just be bold enough to say, even with her passing, and even those students who are now in the drama department who may have never met her, who never had an opportunity to be instructed by her, they're still being impacted by her, you know, because she honestly, you know, had to be the type of person who would leave that mark, you know, and anybody coming through here, they're going to feel that. They have to. They just absolutely have to. You know, from everything I always hear about her, you know, she left something that was just absolutely stamped in concrete, you know, so it's just very difficult. So I would just say, as students, you know, learn more about her. You know, she has a niece here. I don't remember her name, but she has a niece that's that's on staff here.
Right.
You know, talk to her, talk to people about her, and look at her movies.
Right.
You know, make sure you get those movies and watch them.
Right.
You know, especially those who are really wanting to go into that line of work as an
Right.
actor. You know, just
Right.
watch her. Absolutely.
Now, is there anything else, lasting things that you want to say about Swing Fi Swing and Miss Carol Mitchell-Leon?
Well, let me just simply say, if people are interested in learning more about our organization, you know, you can go to our national website, which is swingfiswing.org, and that will give you a lot of information, you know, about our organization. And if people are interested in talking to me more, then feel free. You all can contact me, and I'll give you my website, which is Roz Tandy, Tandy, at the Luke, Luke, agency.net. That's Roz Tandy at thelukeagency.net.
And any lasting words for, you know, Carol Mitchell-Leon?
Oh, you know, when we have our fundraiser next year, I really hope to see as many Clark students as we possibly can get in the place, because we really would like you all to come and be a part of this and be a part of the scholarships that you may not get one, but you're going to be helping one of your peers, you know, so we would really like to see you all, you know, come out and just have a good time, have a really good time.
Do you plan on having it here on Clark's campus?
You know, we have talked about
Yeah.
doing some things here. We really, really have. And we'll be talking more. You know, I've been talking to some of the people here. And, you know, in fact, they put that out there that may be a
Right.
possibility, and we would like to do that.
Definitely, that would be a great opportunity, especially to keep her legacy going
Absolutely.
throughout Clark and letting us, you know, be informed about her.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
Definitely. And thank you, Ms. Tandy, for joining us today. Hope you'll come back and speak with us some more about the scholarship and the fundraiser.
I'd love to, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
And thanks for joining us again on another episode of Potpourri. I'm Shatondra Caldwell.